Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we uncover the hidden truths behind those official corporate documents. Today, we're diving into a filing that is all about putting companies together, and sometimes that means just tweaking the playbook a little. We've got BPGC Acquisition Corp here, and they've just made a small but important update to a big deal they're working on. Think of it like this: they're trying to merge two companies, and they just extended the deadline for filing some paperwork. It sounds simple, but these kinds of delays can tell us a lot about how smoothly things are going behind the scenes. Before we dive in, if you love getting these plain English breakdowns of complex financial filings, make sure you're subscribed, and we've got a fantastic community over on Discord, linked in the description below, where we discuss these things further. This is a Form 8K, which is basically a way for companies to announce important stuff that shareholders need to know right away. For BPGC Acquisition Corp, it seems they re-preparing for something called a business combination, which is a fancy way of saying merging with another company. The big news here is an update to their merger agreement. Remember that deal they announced back in July to merge with iRocket Technologies Inc. Among others, well, they've just signed an amendment to that agreement. The most important change, they've pushed back the deadline for BPGC to file its multi-year 10K report. Originally, they had to get that big financial report in by the 6th of October, but now they have until the 31st of October. This isn't a huge change, but it means they need a bit more time to get their ducks in a row, which can sometimes signal that the deal itself is taking longer or facing unexpected hurdles. Now, the filing also talks about a registration statement on Form S-4. This is a crucial document filed with the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. It's where they lay out all the details of the business combination for shareholders, including information about the proposed new company, Holdco, and the plans for the merger. It is basically the prospectus that investors will use to understand what they're getting into. The filing emphasizes that BPGC shareholders should be watching out for this registration statement, because it will contain important information about the business combination. They're being advised to read it carefully once it becomes available, as it will have all the nitty-gritty details about the deal, the companies involved, and what it means for everyone. It's also worth noting that BPGC is checking the box for being an emerging growth company. This designation means they get to follow some slightly different, often less stringent, reporting rules. They've also elected not to use the extended transition period for complying with new or revised financial accounting standards, which means they're aiming to keep up with the latest accounting rules as they come out. The report mentions information about former names and addresses if they had changed, but in this case it's marked as not applicable. This suggests they haven't undergone recent name changes or address updates that are relevant to this filing. This section is a standard disclaimer. It's important to understand that this report itself isn't soliciting votes or offering to buy or sell securities. It is just providing information about an event. If you're thinking about investing, you need to wait for those official offering documents. This is a really important part of almost every SEC filing. Companies are required to include statements about their future expectations and plans. However, they also have to warn you that these are just predictions, and that actual results could be very different. They use words like may, will, intend, and expect to signal these forward-looking statements. This is where things get interesting. The filing lists a whole bunch of potential risks. One of the key ones they highlight is the chance that the merger agreement itself could be terminated. That means the whole deal could fall apart due to some unexpected event or change. Another big concern they're flagging is the ability to get the new combined company's shares listed on a major stock exchange like NASDAQ. If they can't get listed, it makes it much harder for investors to trade their shares, which is a huge problem for any public company. They also explicitly mention the risk that BPGC might not be able to catch up on its SEC filings. This is a pretty clear admission that BPGC has some catching up to do in terms of its own reporting, a potential red flag for financial health and operational efficiency. Now, let's look at the exhibits. The most important one here is Exhibit 2.1, which is the actual amendment to the agreement and plan of merger. This is where you'd find the precise legal language detailing the extension of that filing deadline. Therese also exhibit 104, the cover page interactive data file, which is just a machine, readable version of the report's main page. Finally, we see the signature of Nadim Z. Qureshi, who is listed as the Chairman, Chief Executive Officer, and President of BPGC Acquisition Corp. His signature on the 10th of October 2025 confirms that the company is formally submitting this report. So, what's the story here? BPGC Acquisition Corp is in the process of a significant merger with iRocket Technologies. They've just given themselves a bit more breathing room to file a major financial report. This is typical in complex deals, but it also highlights potential complexities or delays in getting the combined entity fully compliant with SEC reporting standards, specifically with BPGC's ability to become current in its filings. While the extension itself is minor, the underlying need for it, coupled with the explicit mention of potential termination risks and listing challenges, suggests this merger isn't a slam dunk. Investors should be watching closely for the upcoming registration statement, as it will offer much more clarity on the path forward and any potential bumps in the road for this combination. Alright, that's our breakdown of BPGC Acquisition Corp. latest report, what is your take on these details and what they signal for the company? Future, drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.